Hey everybody, what is up? It is me, Dat Guy Devin, and wow, it's been quite a long time since I said that. Probably about 4 years or so to be exact. So yeah, I'm coming back to Marvel Contest of Champions. I've actually been playing for roughly a year now. Um and I just wanted to make a video real quick announcing this because just jumping into content felt a little wrong. But yeah, I'm going to be making Contest of Champions content again because I have been playing the game to the point where I feel like not making content is a little silly because I do have stuff I want to talk about in this game, and I am still interested in making content for this game. So I figured, why not? Let's just restart the channel. Right off the bat, I probably sound a lot different. It's been a long, long time. But I just wanted to really quickly go over coming back and some changes that have been made and why I actually feel like coming back to the game now is probably one of the best times that you can do so. So I rewatched my quitting video from 4 years ago when I stopped playing this game initially, and one of my biggest chief complaints was how units were necessary for content and how it felt like items were otherwise inaccessible with low revive drop rates and things of this nature. Now, if that Devin had known back then that you could revive farm and that there were spots where revives were literally everywhere, I doubt he would have made that claim. Now there is no revive farming. There is the apothecary, and then there is the 4-hour crystals, which are now single-day crystals that you get from the super event going on right now. But I will say, one thing that has very much surprised me, and that I very much have enjoyed about this game, was Act 8. I personally feel like this was the best content that Contest of Champions has produced yet. Not only are you only facing 3 lanes in Chapters 3 and 4, but the reduction in the number of fights per lane is much more manageable, and the unification of nodes that serve to benefit the player, while punishing for not reading and understanding, are much more interesting and skill-inducing than they were in something like Initial Act 6, which was actually the act that I'd brought up in my quitting video. Back then, there could be 100 fights in a lane, and nodes that necessitated bringing very, very specific counters. Whereas the lanes in Act 8 feel like they were designed with classes in mind, or groups of champions in mind. While I'm not going to say that I didn't have to rank up champions for this content, it was extremely refreshing to come back and see that not only were there less lanes, less fights, but the nodes were interesting, and they allow certain champions to shine that might not shine in every other form of content. So I must say that Act 8, from the rewards to the structure to the bosses and how they've become more interactive, is an absolute win. And I hope that Kabam, with the feedback they've gotten, understands that this is absolutely phenomenal for the game. So another thing I wanted to touch on was the Everest content. In my last video of quitting, I had only done Labyrinth. I still have not touched Abyss because now the rewards don't make a lot of sense. But I wanted to talk about Necropolis. I did fully explore this to become Valiant when it dropped, and I had a lot of fun. There were a few fights that, while annoying, and some kind of out of place, like Airwalker, most of these fights feel like they were designed very well. Specifically, the Nameless Grandmaster. I just want to point this fight out, and everybody in the community has beaten this to death. It is a skill fight. While there are still some moments that are very annoying, for example, the reverse controls part of this, if you have the skill, this fight is actually so much fun. It takes the mechanics from the Grandmaster and basically just amplifies them. And it is such a well-structured fight to finish off this quest. That is another thing I just wanted to touch on because I know I had slandered the Everest content in the past, and I really do think Necropolis was an awesome step in the right direction. Thoroughly enjoyed this piece of content. Another thing I want to cover is Battlegrounds. When I came back to the game, I was extremely confused what this was, because when I heard there was PvP in this game, I was just wondering, okay, so is it just sit in a corner and block and wait for intercepts? And actually, I think this is a wonderful mode. I do think that, especially with the 4th of July offers, it has become a bit muddy. And I do want to make a video talking about Kabam's decision to kind of shove everyone in bronze, because while it might be like okay for someone who wants to just get this over with, as a Valiant player, it wasn't fun. And as someone who is Cavalier, Thronebreaker, Paragon, I can imagine this was extremely unfun. And this season has probably been the Battleground season you've played the least, if you're one of those, if you're in one of those groupings in tiers of progression. But I want to make a video talking about this further because I would like to discuss how I feel that them changing everybody into bronze affected this season and how it could have been done in a better way. But yeah, overall, most of my problems with the game were the inaccessibility of content and the lack of content for those who wanted to push further. I feel that now with things like the account-long challenges and the content creator challenges and Act 8 and Act 7 and Necropolis and the other Everest content, Grandmaster's Gauntlet, Battlegrounds, Incursions, Alliance Quest, Alliance War, you can engineer the game to how you want to play. And that's something that I was severely missing when I quit this game. You don't have to treat this game like a job if you don't want to anymore. If you're going to try and stay in the very upper echelon, you're probably going to have to spend to cover up your time of not playing. But there's many more avenues of content now that do not necessitate you to be in a top-tier alliance to finish with. One of the things that has been extremely refreshing is the alliance I've joined. It is not as strenuous and as immediate and as necessary for everything to be done exactly when it needs to be done. Alliance Quest is a lot more relaxed. War has become a lot more relaxed with the 2-day period. I like that they're giving people options to spend less time in one specific moment and having to get on at specific times and being able to log on when you want to. Coming up this week, I'm going to make videos on a bunch more things. I want to do an account tour to kind of show you guys how I've changed my account since I've been on last, because I haven't made a video in 4 years and I have been playing for about a year, so my account has changed a lot. And I've learned a lot about this game. I've done a lot of investigating about this game. I've seen the community change and I've seen the creators change, and I just think the contest is in a good spot right now. There are some problems, and I'd like to address those, but I just wanted to make a video announcing that I am coming back to content creation and that I'm very excited for the journey ahead. Thank you, and I'll see you in future videos.